What's up, Pirates? Ray Talks here with Awaken TCG, and today I'm bringing you guys the Issho video. So I went to the locals, I brought Issho, and we performed to the best of our ability and to the best of the deck's ability. But I kind of just want to show you guys the list I was running. Would I make any changes? Potentially. We saw a Law, a Queen, and a Blurple Kaido. Interestingly. I mean, the list was okay for the most part. I mean, I'm not the best deck builder, and I couldn't really net deck with Issho as there's not many decks to go off of. But here, this is kind of what we were going. The only interesting thing here is we went with two Don Quixote Rosinantes as our little sauce, kind of. Definitely missed out on some of these X Drakes on the law matchup, and as well as these Kobes. Maybe we go 4 of Kobe just to see it more often. I never saw these blockers. Oddly enough, with the 3 rounds that I did not see a single killer, which was interesting. But, it is what it is. But this is the deck list we ran. And then let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. Here we have the Law matchup. So we're on Issho, of course. We're versing a Law. This is round 2, I believe. And so... yeah, man. I mean, I didn't have too much experience, so I kind of misplay on my second turn off the bat. I guess it's just an inexperience with Issho, but I mean, the deck could definitely do a work against Law. I think I just played it really bad. So to start things off, he gets double Nami search, right? So insane turn 1 for him, and then I search, and then I pass. Obviously, I should have known that he was gonna swing the Law. But I had a punt Gibson, right? Because I grabbed it off the Bonnie here. I'm like, you know what? That's cool. I'm going to punt Gibson. As soon as he swings at it, I'm just going to punt Gibson, rest the Nami, kill it. But then I'm like, no, you know what? I could probably use this punt Gibson later on. Like, I don't know. I was kind of just debating on what to do, and I just ended up passing. So he goes Otama and just secures the kill, goes 5,000 into it. And regardless, I would need to give up Punk and something else. Then he plays Zoro and passes just so he can set up his shambles the next turn. And so now I'm in a really awkward spot. He's about a shambles, and I kind of really don't have anything on the board. But I guess that's going second. Going first. So he went first, right? And we want to go second. So I swing 6,000, and then he takes, and then I just play a Kuzan, draw 1. Nothing too exciting here. So he's going to go 5,000 at lead. Debating what to do. I think I eventually just block out here. Yeah, I just give him a 1K. I a couple cards in my hand that I wanted to keep, but I just gave him a 1K. He swings 5 with leader, I take. Then he plays the Don. He's going to grab a Makino, and then obviously the shambles is going to come. He already had a Law in his hand, so no bonding necessary. Brings back the Nami, plays another Zoro, swings at me. Now he has 2 Zoros rested, and I'm kind of in an awkward spot because I have no X-Drake in hand, right? Obviously, an X-Drake here would be, massive, right? You get a 6K body on board, KO one of his Zoros, and then I can swing with my other 2 characters at his Zoro. Obviously, he does have a Law, a 6K Law, so I'd have to swing 6. But, I mean, I'm at 7 Dawn this turn here, so I would be able to go 6, swing 6, and then, X-Drake. So I go 5. And he gives me a 1K, doesn't want to block because I would probably go heavy on his Law blocker if he just got the free block. And so I'm counting out some done here, debating on what I want to do. At this point in my hand, I really don't have anything useful to combo off with the Kuzan. So I go 6 again, and he gives me another card, which I'm fine with, because it was a 2K. So then I play X Drake, the ST one that gives navies and supernovas plus 1,000. And so, here we are. We punt Gibson, get rid of the other Zoro. Debating how the rest of my turn is going to look for next turn. But obviously the Zoro's over there swinging. So he's about to swing with Law. Probably going to swing with his blocker again. So I block out for 2K. Then he goes 7. So I take. And then, of course, he shambles, brings out another blocker Law, replaces the Zoro, goes 7. And I have no choice but to take at that point. Really critical turns from him, just being so aggressive, and me just not having the right cards in hand. I'm gonna be honest. I think at this point, I have a Kobe in hand, but I mean it's a little too late, right? And then me not knowing this matchup, I think you guys are gonna see coming forward here. Another misplay on my end. But now I'm at 9 Dawn, so I'm at 9 Dawn. So I swing 7 with the X Drake. Really great card in this deck, but it does take a lot of setup and can get cleared really easily. Relatively easily with not too much effort from your opponent. So I go 7K, 6K. He makes the mistake of blocking here and not giving me an extra K because my Issho is a 6K. But obviously we're just playing for fun at the locals. I'm not really taking this too serious, so I'm gonna let him walk that back, and he's going to end up just blocking regardless, but giving me a 1K as well. And then I go 8 Dawn for Rosinante. I play a Law. And so here this turn, I picked up the X Drake for counter, but I had a Kobe in hand. I could have popped the Kobe and KO'd one of his Zoros, which would have been pretty useful. But at the end of the day, I don't think that would have helped. Like maybe it would have saved me one attack. Like this is his lethal turn. He just has way more attacks. Yeah, so this is definitely the lethal turn. I just didn't have the cards needed to keep up with him, and he had a perfect start, right? Enough loss to see, to not have to worry ever in this matchup. But that was game 2, and then moving on to game 3. All right, so here is the start of game 3. At this point, it's not looking too hot. I'm not in the finals, but you might still see finals in the title. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Okay, a little bit of clickbait. That's fine. Let's go ahead and get this game started. We have Issho versus Blurple Kaido. So the Kaido goes who's who. Turn 1 does not, I repeat, does not find the Onigashima Island. And so he goes for a king instead. That, I love to see that. So next up is my turn. I'm going to go ahead and pay 2 for brand new search. And then I go for a Issho here. Maybe that wasn't the right play, but in the moment, it felt good. It felt good, like the right choice. It's going to be on curve. Obviously, my opponent was going to know what I had in hand. So my opponent goes 1 Dawn, swing 6, and then plays a blocker. My turn 2 is just playing an X Drake, ST X Drake, just to get some, extra powerful swings, and even playing with the brand new. My opponent goes swing 5, plays 5 Dawn for Miss All Sunday, excuse me. And then he passes, right? He doesn't have the Onigashima ramp to follow up along with that. And so I go 7 to X Drake, and he uses the 0-drop event plus 3,000. I swing 5, he takes, and then I go ahead and swing 6. And he is going to give me a 2K. And then I end my turn by playing another ST X Drake. I was debating. I had a Borsellino in hand, I believe. And so we just end up going with another ST Drake, just to keep the pressure on. I knew he was going to be at 8 Dawn next turn, and so he was not going to be able to have any of his 9 Kaido plays, any of his 10 Kaido plays, because I'm sure that deck runs the wipe and it runs the 10 drop send 2 back. So he goes 3K at the brand new. I'm just going to take, and he ramps 1. Maybe that was a mistake, but at the end of the day, he was going to have to, it was going to have to go regardless. So whether I gave the 1K for the brand new or the X Drake there, it is what it is. And so he's going 7 at my second X Drake, but I really need to keep something on board. And so, I give up 2 cards. I wasn't really sure which 2 I wanted, but, we go with a Sabo and a Suru. So now we are on 8 Dawn, but we're looking at his hand, and he only has 4 cards, I believe. 4 or 5 cards. So the Issho that I have in my hand, definitely not going to work. So we're going to have to, play our turn a little different. So we go, obviously we're going to put 1 on our X Drake and swing that 7K for that 1 Dawn. My opponent is debating, and he just goes ahead and takes it because I targeted the Miss All Sunday. And so I go 7 again. My opponent takes. I play Tashigi to get rid of the king that he had on board. And so now I cleared the board, and, it's looking decent. It's looking decent. And so now my opponent is on his 10 Dawn turn, but he 9 Kaidos, KOs the Kobe, and then obviously he's just going to swing here as much as he can at my board. He's going to go 6 at the Tashigi. I take 10 at the X Drake, and obviously I'm going to take that. So I swing 7 at his lead. He's counting up his Dawn, trying to do some math in his head, debating on what he wanted to do, and he takes. And then Obviously, that put him at exactly 6 cards. So I Issho him. I ask, how many cards do you have? He says 6. I Issho. I get rid of a 9 Kaido and a Queen, a 5-drop blocker Queen, draw 2, trash 1. And I go ahead and pass turn. Obviously, it's not looking grim yet. It's looking pretty decent. I have an Issho on board, and that's a 9k swing. I have, my leader. If he doesn't block her up, then it, could potentially, win me the game. And so my opponent is counting up his Don because obviously he wants to get me into lethal range. So he goes 7k with his Who's Who, putting 5 Don, and I block out for 3k, but putting me at 0 cards. So he goes swings leader, swings Kaido, puts me at 0 life. And now I really can't live another turn, and so just counting up my Don, and I am going for a game. So I put 3 on the Issho, swing 12k, I put 7 on my lead, and I swing 12k again for the finish. And does my opponent have it? So blast breath for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 plus 5 is definitely more than 7 plus 5. So he counters out 13k on the 12k swing, and my opponent takes it. All right, so now that we have finished the matches I played, I ended up going 1 and 2. Not the greatest scoreline, but for the most part, I do want to highlight a couple things on what this deck does well, and that's honestly just being able to get value out of these targets here, these 5-drop targets, swinging them, and then using leader ability to restand on a turn where your opponent might have gotten value by leaving them tapped. But at the end of the day, the things that are fundamentally wrong definitely outweigh and out hinder the positives. So I think like the greatest hindrance in my opinion would have to be the rested KO effects. Obviously you run Kobe, so it doesn't have to be rested, but a card like this, the card needs to be rested, and most of the time you don't get much opportunities for that. Obviously there's some sauce with this, and obviously I added these in, but it's just like overall, like the cards that you can KO with in this deck are literally the 3 Kobe's, maybe I should run 4 of, and then the 4 X Drakes, right? There's nothing else in this whole deck that'll KO. And so maybe that's an issue with the deck from my end, and when I'm building this deck, kind of like maybe I should have changed something, got more kill. Like I know there's like a 3-drop killer where KO's like a 2 or less or something like that. But at the end of the day, I did try my best. I put in a good amount of effort, but I do have a regional this weekend, so I definitely didn't want to go crazy on a video like this, but I did play it in locals, and I had fun. I enjoyed it. You saw I had the Altar Resonantes, I had the Altar Ishos. Definitely dripped it out a bit, just for fun. I mean, it's a fun deck. If you want to play it casually, and if you want to play it casually, that's up to you. It is a pretty fun deck at the end of the day. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment down below. We'll see you guys on the next one. It's looking like either Purple Yellow Croc or Black Luffy is going to win for next week's local, and that is going to be Jim. He's going to be taking up one of those 2 decks and playing it. I did it this week. He will take over next week. And so thank you guys so much again. We're going to keep, creating content for you guys as long as you guys keep supporting us. We just hit over 100,000 views on the channel a couple of days ago, and so I really want to thank you guys for that. I didn't think I would get to this point. We're almost at 1,000 subs. And yeah, no, it's been a blessing. So thank you guys so much, and we're going to continue to drop bangers and make content, and I hope you guys can enjoy all the content that we drop and join us along on our way to becoming the top One Piece card game YouTubers.